Strap yourself in, guys, because Bitcoin is at it again. The persistent cryptocurrency is back on the rise, with the price of BTC recently exceeding the record heights we saw last in 2017. But why is Bitcoin suddenly rising in value again? Should I be buying Bitcoin? And how the hell do you even buy the stuff if you do want to buy it? For the last time this year, let's get it.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right?
Let's go back to 2017. As Trump steps into the White House, another sketchy figure is ousted from his ivory tower. We celebrate the engagement of Meghan and Harry and crown unlikely celebrities in the form of a Turkish bloke with a novel way of applying salt to meat and a young 13-year-old girl who appears to be giving away cash outside. How about that? The Conservative Party pulled the trigger on Article 50. Meanwhile, another party wasn't quite living up to expectations on the other side of the Atlantic. If we hadn't just had 2020, then by all accounts, 2017 would have seemed like a pretty mental year. So it almost seems fitting that amongst all of that carnage, a decentralized online currency called Bitcoin that was created by, well, we actually don't know who it was created by, would gain so much traction that at one point every single man and his dog was an expert on cryptocurrency trading. Stories of overnight millionaires raised FOMO levels to fever pitch. Everyone knew someone who had made a serious amount of cash from crypto, and then all of a sudden it crashed. The hysterical enthusiasm subsided as those so sure of Bitcoin's ever-increasing price rises were proven wrong. And all those people who had been so-called experts packed up their bags and probably started talking about dropshipping. But Bitcoin is back, recently smashing through its previous 2017 record high. But why is this happening? And do we all need to be buying Bitcoin? I just want to say that I am no cryptocurrency expert. There's plenty of people out there on YouTube that claim to be, but what you're going to get from this video today is a very human approach to looking at the current reasons why Bitcoin is shooting up in value, so you can then go away and make a decision in your own time on whether this makes sense to you and if it's something that you want to add to your investment portfolio. I just want to clarify that I do currently own some Bitcoin. On screen now is my wallet. You'll see I purchased it a few months ago and it's doing pretty well. I use Coinbase because they're one of the more secure ways to hold your crypto. They hold your coins in what's called cold storage, basically meaning they don't store it online where it can be stolen. This is important as Bitcoin is famous for being stolen. There is a link in the description. If you sign up using that link and buy or sell £75 worth of Bitcoin anytime in the next 18 months, you will get £7 worth of BTC. It's like an instant 10% return, which isn't bad. Sign up couldn't be simpler. You just click the link, download the app, follow the steps to register. They do ask you to do that weird ID verification thing where you've got to hold up a picture of yourself and your passport and be like, and then from there, buying the actual Bitcoin itself couldn't be simpler. It's just home, Bitcoin, trade, buy.
How about that?
Your Bitcoin then shows up in the portfolio tab. For the sake of transparency, if you use my link and download the app and deposit £75 within the next 18 months, you get £7, but so do I. This video isn't sponsored by Coinbase in any way, shape or form. They don't know I'm making it. I just think Bitcoin is currently very topical and I should really be speaking about it. You don't have to use my link. You can sign up by yourself or use another service. For the sake of choice, I also use a service called CEX. They seem to have more choice than Coinbase in terms of alternative coins, but I'm not really that interested in all of those. But they are an online exchange. So what that means is you're going to need to find a way to store your cryptocurrency in other manner. Just Google cold storage and look at what that is, because you don't really want to be keeping your coins on an online exchange. The main reason I'm not sitting here talking about CEX as the main platform that I use is one, because of the storage consideration. Coinbase just takes care of that for you. And two, whilst I would get something for referring you to CEX, it doesn't actually appear like you would get anything in return. And personally, I prefer it when we both get something. I think that's a much better way of going about things. And really, I would only ever recommend an affiliate service if, you know, you eat, I eat kind of situation. If we do get any Coinbase signups, what I'll likely do is after a month or so, I'll do a giveaway and we'll give away a large chunk of whatever I've received in referral fees anyway.
Money going up, but we only going up.
I must stress that Bitcoin is a wild ride. I'm more than prepared to lose the funds I have in here. Bitcoin is known for going up a lot in value and then crashing just as quickly. As with any investment, you're risking your money, but even more so with something like Bitcoin. So let me explain my opinions on why I think cryptocurrency is currently on the rise, And you can then go away and consider in your own time if this is something that you want to add to your own investment portfolio. Let's start with cash is trash. In a reaction to the global situation we find ourselves in, world governments have printed more cash. Just like anything in life, if there is more of something, it becomes less valuable. This is the same with cash. It's kind of like if everyone was a millionaire, then no one is, because the price of goods and services would rise to reflect the fact that everyone had £1,000,000. Try getting someone to clean a toilet for minimum wage when they got £1,000,000 sat in a bank account. You're going to struggle. So because of all the money printing and because of the fact that cash in your bank accounts is becoming less valuable, people are now flooding to assets that are scarce, or in other words, there's not many of them. Scarcity is all around us. It's the reason people pay more for a PlayStation on the day it launches, or one of the reasons we like gold so much. It's the same thing as someone saying that something is limited edition, or why Amazon will tell you there's only 3 left in stock. Because if we think there's less of something, we perceive it as more valuable. Scarcity. In the past, gold was seen as the place to go if you wanted a scarce, valuable resource to park your cash. But whilst we know gold is rare, we don't know exactly how much or little of it there is. There could be a 20-mile long block of the stuff buried under New York for all we know. Or Elon could start mining asteroids and bring back enough gold to make it common. But Bitcoin is different. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. We can break those Bitcoin up into tiny little pieces and the value of those pieces can increase forever. But there will only ever be 21 million total whole Bitcoin, which means that Bitcoin, by its nature, is scarce. The fact that we know there can never be more and that Bitcoin will always be scarce makes it more valuable, especially when people are worried that all of the extra money that has been printed will reduce the spending power of normal cash. So as the central banks of the world print more cash in order to stimulate damaged economies as a result of Rona, people become fearful that the value of the cash they hold will decrease over time. So they move that cash into more scarce assets like gold or Bitcoin. If the demand for Bitcoin outstrips the supply of people willing to sell it, the price rises. This is because of scarcity. And the impact of this scarcity from Bitcoin has been compounded recently by an event called the halvening. Kind of sounds like a rubbish horror movie, but don't worry, it's nothing scary. It is a little bit weird though, so I'll try and explain it as simply as possible for you. Like gold, Bitcoin is mined, but not from the ground, but by instead using computer power. Basically, people give over computer power to help run the admin jobs for Bitcoin. They are then rewarded with Bitcoins as a thank you for doing all of that work. These people are called miners, but there's no pickaxes and dynamite here, more mega computers and cooling fans. When gold was first discovered, I imagine it was easier to mine. We as humans would focus on where it was easiest to get our hands on it, and over time we would use up all of the easy mines, it would become harder and harder, or in other words, the reward for the effort we put in would reduce. We now have to go deeper and further to get our hands on that sweet, sweet gold. If over time mining for gold gets harder and harder and the reward we get for the effort reduces, then the halvening is a feature of Bitcoin's code that replicates this phenomena. Essentially, every 3 to 4 years, the reward that these Bitcoin miners get for doing the admin work for Bitcoin halves, hence the halvening. But why is this important? Since Bitcoin was created, every time there was a halvening, the price of Bitcoin has shot up massively. The first halvening, which occurred in November of 2012, saw an increase from about $12 to nearly $1,150 within a year. The second Bitcoin halvening occurred in July of 2016. The price at that halvening was around $650. And by December 17th, 2017, Bitcoin's price had soared to just under $20,000. The price then fell over the course of the year from this peak down to around $3,200. So the halving of the reward that Bitcoin miners get for performing the admin tasks for Bitcoin has always been followed by a massive surge in price. And you'll never guess what happened on the 11th of May, 2020. Yep, that's right, a halvening. And since then, Bitcoin's price has risen 120%. The next factor that is pushing Bitcoin higher is the adoption of BTC by some of the biggest players in the game. Over the past 12 months, it's become apparent that some of the world's biggest businesses and some of the richest individuals on the planet have been snapping up shed loads of Bitcoin. Here's just a few examples. Fidelity launched a Bitcoin fund only available to the rich. PayPal now accept it. Square, whose CEO is Jack Dorsey, the guy who started Twitter, has purchased $50 million worth. And Grayscale, a a fund that buys Bitcoin, now holds 450,000 Bitcoins. Even Mexico's second richest man has a load of it. In 2017, the price was pushed up due to every Tom, Dick and Harry buying up Bitcoin. Back in 2017, a lot of these big players, banks and rich people sat on the sidelines and just watched. But now it's these individuals and institutions that are driving up the price of Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin is a scarce asset. There's only ever going to be 21 million of them. So if a billionaire comes in and thinks, I'm going to put £1 billion into this, that will literally drive the price of Bitcoin up. But why all of a sudden are these financial institutions and billionaires getting involved? Well, besides the factors we've already discussed, the main reason is our little baby Bitcoin is now starting to grow up. Let's face it, pre-2017, Bitcoin was a pretty shady affair. Only really championed by deep web divers looking to get their hands on their latest batch of disco biscuits. Buying it was about as hard as completing Sonic on the Mega Drive without the ability to save. Honestly, still never done it. But since 2017, the purchase of Bitcoin has become easier and the financial infrastructure around it has matured. Not only are big banks and billionaires buying it, but they're creating products and services around it. All of this is turning what was once a drugged up ugly duckling into what might be a teetotal majestic swan. Look, let's be real here. Bitcoin is mental. And if you're considering buying it, you need to be ready for the ride of your life. If you can't take your shares moving 1 or 2% on a daily basis, then Bitcoin probably isn't the place for you. If I had to take a guess right now at what I think is going to happen to Bitcoin over the next 12 months, and that's exactly what this is, a complete guess, I think that FOMO, or the fear of missing out, will take over, and over the next 12 months we will see the price of Bitcoin rise quite a lot. At which point someone who has a lot of Bitcoin will cash out big, leading to a massive crash again, and then Bitcoin will settle out at a new lower price, which is higher than the previous low price. I would make this complete stab in the dark, unscientifically backed guess, because it's done it before, as Andre Jick shows us here.
This one time, Bitcoin was worth 44 cents, and it went all the way up to $30, and then it crashed back down to $7. And then this other time, it was worth $13, and went all the way up to $213, but then it crashed back down to $65. And then this other time, Bitcoin went from $147 to $1,100, and then it crashed back down to $480. And this other time, Bitcoin was worth $1,100, it went up to $19,000, and then it crashed back down to $6,300.
Thanks for that, Andre. Go check out Andre's channel. I'll link it in the end cards at the end. He is exceptional. He is definitely my favourite Andre, closely followed by Andre the Giant. If I had to pick a third, Peter Andre, but only in the Mysterious Girl years. After that, dead to me. So I invest about 1 to 5% of everything that I invest on a monthly basis into Bitcoin at the minute. I do that because I'm a massive risk taker. I like the fact that big banks and billionaires are getting behind it. And the pattern that's emerged around the halvening every 3 to 4 years is really interesting. But I am fully prepared for this investment to go to zero. Bitcoin's value is based on the fact that everyone thinks it has value. Everyone could wake up one day and go, hold on, this Bitcoin is nothing but digital numbers, it's not worth anything, and the price would just collapse. In the same way that everyone could wake up one day, look at gold and be like, it's nothing but a shiny yellow rock, why do we pay so much for it? But the main reason I think we need to talk about Bitcoin is, don't get caught up in the hype. There are going to be a lot of Bitcoin nutters standing on soapboxes shouting that this time is different and trying to tell you all of these different ways that you can make money off Bitcoin. Even the comment section in this very video is likely to have Bitcoin scammers appear in it. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pick one, we can pin it so you can see what it looks like, and then we can all GOT style shame them. Shame. 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 If you're going to buy Bitcoin, only risk what you can afford to lose. Buy with a reputable site and store your Bitcoin properly. And remember, no one can tell you where the price of Bitcoin is going to go. And anyone who says they can is a poo-poo chewer. I'll be honest with you, the reason myself and probably 99% of other people buy Bitcoin is out of a fear of missing out. Because they think it might just be the next big thing, the new gold, and if they haven't bought a slice now, they're going to miss out. It isn't an investment that can be justified and rationalised through technical analysis. If you understand that and you're still happy to go ahead with it, brilliant. Cash me outside.
How about that?
Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right?